Hello, hello. Oh, this feels a bit weird because I'm not going to teach you any yoga, and that's massively my comfort zone. That's where I know what I'm doing, and where I know what it's all about. So yeah, just give it a couple of minutes. Also, rather embarrassingly, I managed to set the reminder for this event for next Wednesday, not today. So if you're here, hello, it's lovely to have you, and maybe I'll have to run it one again next Wednesday. What I wanted to do this evening is, rather than just give you live practices, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why, basically why yoga, why it works, how it can help to support you, how it can help you to overcome those days when you're feeling really overwhelmed, what it's all about, and how it doesn't need to be complicated and how it doesn't need to take you loads of time. So thank you to everybody that gave me suggestions on question boxes and bits and pieces. If you come up with any questions, you're welcome to pop them in the chat as we're going through. I can see Facebook down here, hello, Instagram up here, hello. And I'll try and do my best to navigate all of the tech. If we've not met before, then I'm not particularly tech savvy, so things never always go quite as I had planned, but we muddle on, we soldier on, don't we? So I think firstly, somebody messaged me, so I had planned that this would just be a chat about yoga and why it works and how it works and all the rest of it, and then somebody messaged me and said, I want to know more about you. Tell me more about you. So I'll start with me, shall I? I'm Gemma. I'm 38, I think. James, can you correct me? I can see that you're there. I think I'm 38. I have got two beautiful children. I'm married to James. It was our 13th wedding anniversary of the day. And we've got two absolutely bonkers spaniels too. You might have met last Wednesday if you came to the live. Yes, they're still as obedient as ever. But my boys, there's 14 and a half months between them. So when I had my youngest, life just got really busy. And I always described it to people as kind of being stuck behind a parapet, almost like just having your head down and needing to get on and not being able to look up very often, very much in survival mode. And then one day my friend said to me, let's go to a yoga class. She'd always wanted to yoga. She didn't have kids, but she wanted somebody to go with her. So I went, and it was honestly one of the most incredible experiences of my life. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know my left from my right. Still don't. But it was a whole hour where I didn't have to think about anybody else. I just had to think about me and what was my left or right, and where did my foot go, and was I breathing in or out. And when we did the relaxation at the end, I just remember coming round from it and thinking, oh my gosh, this is absolutely life-changing. This is incredible. And I was hooked straight away. And so I made a real effort to make sure that James was home every Wednesday night so that I could go to yoga every Wednesday night. And it had a huge effect on my ability to cope with things, to be able to like have that little window outside of our house every week, was incredible. And then after a little while, I got really into it, and it came to a point where I needed to go back to work, and I knew that office work wasn't going to work because I wanted to try and be around for the kids as much as possible. So we were just bouncing ideas around. I think James and I were out for a drink, and we were bouncing ideas around. And he said to me, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" And I said, I really like to help people. I'd really like to help people feel better. So then we talked around, okay, do you do that as a massage therapist? Do you do that as an aromatherapist? Something like that. And so I realised that I loved yoga, and I loved the feeling of yoga, and that I wanted to be able to give that to other people. So we had a little look around, and I found a yoga teacher training, and it literally started in about 6 weeks, and they were taking applications, and they took mine and they accepted me. And it was a 2-year course, and it fitted in perfectly with when my youngest started school. And it was just this like beautiful happenstance of events, and it all just worked together. So I worked through the 2 years of teacher training. I started teaching classes, taught classes locally in my area. I lived just outside Southampton in the UK, on the south coast. Started teaching classes and just absolutely fell in love with it, and completely fell in love with being able to give people that smiley face at the end. So whenever I teach classes, I'd say the most enjoyable thing, the thing that I get out of this the most, is seeing how much everybody changes. So they'd walk into a room and everyone would have the stresses of the day with them, and then I'd be able to take their mind off of it for an hour. And then they'd all come round at the end with these little lovely sleepy smiley faces, and I knew that I had helped them to feel better. But actually they'd done all the hard work. I was just really there, holding space for them and guiding them through, so they didn't have to think for an hour. Then I went on and did some further training, and the joy of this job is that it's a constant learning experience. I'm constantly able to learn, and I'm constantly able to share this knowledge, and I just love it. I'm so enthusiastic about it, and the power that it has to make people feel better. And then obviously the pandemic hit, and so classes stopped, and so we all moved online. And I became acutely aware of time pressure. So as a mum, obviously my kids are a little bit older now, but time tonight is testament to this. Fitting things in around where people need to be and when people need to be it's a constant juggling act, isn't it? It's like a jigsaw. It's like one of those little magic puzzles you had as a kid where you've got to keep all the pieces moving to get the whole picture eventually. And so online yoga, yeah, we started, it was great, and we could do hours and hours at a time, but then everybody lost the ability to concentrate in front of a screen. And so I started looking at the concept of quicker, shorter practices that you could fit in that would still count, that would still make you feel good, but without having to find an hour of time in a day, which quite frankly, speaking from my experience, is almost impossible. So yeah, then I kind of hit upon the idea of rapid yogi, and that's really where we are now. So yeah, and I think when I was putting this all together, and I was thinking about how can you explain to people what is it all about. So then I thought, okay, well, yoga. Why yoga? Why does it work? Why does everybody bang on about it? Why do you know that you should be doing yoga? Quite simply, it's the perfect blend of body and mind. So if it's a new movement, if it's something you've got to concentrate on, you can't think about all of that other stuff that's going on. You have to concentrate just on what is going on. Which is your left hand? Which is your right foot? What does she mean when she says twist like this? Am I even breathing? Am I holding my breath? All of those things. You don't have the mental capacity to think about anything other than being in this moment. And the word mindfulness and all of that gets bandied around quite a lot, but it is literally a practice where you cannot physically concentrate on anything else. You have to be entirely present. And I think that it's important to recognize that sometimes, like I said, an hour to do that is A, really hard work, and B, almost impossible to find. So I don't want people to think that it's inaccessible. And actually, if 3 deep breaths is all you've got time for, it still counts. That still counts. That's still yoga, because you have taken a moment, you've connected your thinking brain to your body, to your breathing. You've thought about stretching the breath out, making it longer, breathing out a little bit, maybe thinking about that little pause before the next breath comes in. And those 3 big deep breaths will trigger your central nervous system to slip into a slightly more relaxed mode. So it starts to down-regulate stress hormone in the body. And it just leaves you feeling better, just those 3 deep breaths. And so when people say to me, like, the 3 obstacles that I come across the most, I haven't got time to do yoga. Yes, you have. 3 big deep breaths, that's all I need you to do. Every time you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, or life gets a bit too much, or you start to feel a bit anxious about what's going on, if you can pause what you're doing, if it's safe to do so, and take 3 big deep breaths, and then if those 3 aren't enough, maybe take another 3. And then if you feel like it, maybe you can start to move a little bit with that breath. Maybe as you breathe in, you can feel the shoulders move back a little bit, and as you breathe out, you can roll them forward a little bit, just tagging it on. If you can commit to those 3 deep breaths and then just see where it leads, it's magical. And this is what I feel really passionate about: encouraging people, inspiring people, helping people to understand all of this, and knowing that your yoga practice doesn't have to look like all those other people that you see on YouTube and Instagram. Mine doesn't look like that. Yours doesn't have to look like that. It has to work for you. It has to make you smile, and it has to make you feel better. So, back to those 3 obstacles. So one is time. You don't need loads of time. 3 big deep breaths and see where you go from there. If you can set a timer for 5 minutes and wiggle your body for 5 minutes, and then if you've got the opportunity to add another minute on, another minute on, see where it leads you. Just play with it, have fun with it, see where it goes. The other obstacles that I come across are, oh, I'm not flexible enough. I can't do yoga. I'm not flexible enough. Stop you right there. Firstly, you're not going to get any more flexible by not doing yoga. And secondly, somebody said to me once, it's like saying, I won't go to French lessons because I can't speak French. You have to go, you have to practice to learn how to get better at something. So you have to start a yoga practice to start to understand your body and understand what flexibility is and how it looks in your body. Flexibility isn't just about touching your toes, it's about understanding perhaps the mechanics of how you can do it and how you can adapt a pose to make yourself feel more comfortable and then gradually stretch out your edges. So flexibility that's not a reason for you not to do yoga. No. And the other one's really flexibility, time, and then not knowing what you're doing. That's okay. You're not supposed to know what you're doing. Again, when you go to those French lessons, if you know how to conjugate a verb, why are you in the beginner's lesson? You know, it's not about knowing what you're doing. It's my job to know what you're doing. And the joy of discovering yoga and a yoga practice is you can sit there, and the absolute joy and beauty of an online yoga practice is you can play in your own house and nobody else can see you. You can explore the movements, and you know, if you don't want to do exactly what the lady on the telly is telling you to do, you don't have to do it. You can, if she's telling you to do a really powerful high lunge and you're thinking, goodness me, I'm absolutely knackered and I've just had a cup of tea, you can put your back knee down. It's all about adapting and making it work for you. So that knowledge, that idea of not knowing what you're doing, go onto Instagram, go onto YouTube, rummage around in Google and try all of the different free yoga practices that are out there. Shameless plug, I've got loads of stuff on my Instagram. That's kind of why I'm here. There's loads there, and if you can't find what you're looking for, if you can't scroll through, message me or message whoever the teacher is and say, I'm so sorry, I've got a bit of a jaw issue at the moment, I've got a bit of a stiff neck at the moment, can you point me in the right direction of some practices? Try them all on until you find the one that fits you, and then once you've found that yoga teacher that fits you, then you will gradually build your knowledge and your understanding, and you're not expected to be a master at the beginning, so long as you know how to breathe. And hey, even if you don't understand the mechanics of breathing, that's what we're here to help you with, basically. So yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a ramble of a conversation, but that's how I started with yoga, and hopefully it demonstrates a little bit about why I'm so passionate about empowering you to kind of explore yoga. It doesn't have to be hours, it doesn't have to be super flexy and super flowy. It can be 3 deep breaths. It can be a little bit of cat-cow when you wake up in the morning. It can be, and it often is, when I'm standing in a queue or when I'm standing waiting for my coffee to brew, just a little bit of a flex and a twist and I tell you what, I could really do with stretching out my ribs today. That moment where you drop your attention out of your outside world and into what you need, not what you want, what you need, listening to your body and what it needs, that moment is you doing yoga. And if I can, through the silliness that is these little squares and these little videos, empower you, encourage you, support you to taking a step on a journey to feeling better, then how incredible is that? How incredible is that? So I know that yoga can help. I hope that you can. I hope that you can feel the passion that's there. I've got loads of different ways that I can help. So if you are interested in exploring yoga further, first step would be to go either Instagram. You can go onto my page. There's loads of resources there. There's a link in my bio, in my page bio, that will take you to the 5-Day Feel Good Habit, which is a free series of videos that are all about creating a habit. you can go direct to my website, and there's loads of bits and pieces on there. You can message me if you need anything at all. You know, just keep an eye, set those little notifications so that you get to see my stuff. The algorithm, don't worry about that. Don't get caught up in that. If you see it, if you like it, engage with it, you get to see more of it. I run seasonal series. I have on-demand bundles. I have a membership you can come and join me in. But most importantly of all, I hope that this, if you're just catching the end of it, go back and watch the beginning. It's quite good. I hope that this is giving you the inspiration to try a little bit of yoga tomorrow, or maybe even this evening when you get into bed tonight, rather than just laying down and picking up your phone and scrolling through it. Take 3 big deep breaths and notice how you feel. What can you do to make it feel better? Can you, every time you breathe out, can you imagine the day just kind of sliding off your shoulders relaxing a little bit? Because yeah, it all counts, it all adds up, and yeah, I think it's wonderful. I think it's genuinely magic. So yeah, if you've got any more questions, let me know. I've quite enjoyed doing this, so maybe I'll do another one. Not every week, but maybe in a month or so we'll have another little chat, and I can cover some extra bits and pieces. But yeah, thank you for joining me this evening. Hope that you've all got wonderful Wednesday evenings ahead. I think we've got a nice quiet one. Once all the kids are back from sports, nice quiet evening. You know, an opportunity maybe for a little stretch while I'm watching the telly. Wonderful. Thank you all. If you need any more information, like I said, head to the website, head to my bio, or message me, and I will send you everything and anything that you need to know. Yeah, thank you for the gift of your time this evening, and I will see you all again soon.